Beautiful. Let's stand up. Feet hip distance apart. We're going to start with a side-to-side bend for a change. So first of all, rolling the shoulders back and down. We tuck the chin in towards the chest. Now we're sliding the right hand down the right leg. Pause when we get to that block. And then we're going to bend the knees so we slide towards the ankle. This left arm reaching up now. Two-way stretch through the arms. Try to avoid that temptation to bend forwards. We're going directly to the side. Now feel that stretch down this left side of the body, stretching in two directions. Now place the weight into your left foot and stretch up like you're on a pull-up bar, pulling up to the ceiling and come up to standing. So it's a very strong, supported return back to standing. Over to the other side. So it's a limited side bend. Then letting the knees soften, so we slide a little bit further. And then let's get this chest opening, wide wingspan, to the ceiling, to the floor. Chest open wide here. And to stand up, we're reaching as though there's a rope around our wrist, pulling us up to the ceiling and pressing into the floor to return. So like that a few times each side. Start with straight legs, then adding the bend. And then stretch up and down. Chin still tucked into the chest. Reaching for the ceiling to reset. We start to breathe nice and evenly, deeply, in and out of the nose. Let's have the palms facing forwards. It just helps us to open the chest. Last couple of times each side. So each time you come up to standing, that sensation of being slightly longer, a little bit taller, finding space, developing more space between the ribs and the hips. And then up to standing. Widen the legs and just have a little swing around the waist. Shoulders relaxed and down, jaw soft, and then we're going to work on the neck and then onto the spine. We clasp the hands behind the back, roll the shoulders back and down, and then place that combined fist over to the left side of your waist. So with the hands clasped to the left, we're going to now turn the nose towards the left. Now make sure the jaw's soft, shoulders down, and there's a small movement here of tipping forwards and backwards where we're just exploring this stretch for the right side of your neck, no forcing. A very small, gentle movement. Softness in the jaw, softness, heaviness in the shoulders. And then we'll take it to the other side. Wrists on the other side. We can take the head over the nose towards the right, and then just exploring whether it's the right ear to the right shoulder, or small movements, just exploring. We'll all have tightness in a slightly different space. It's good to give it time. And just breathe into the left side of the neck. We'll change the clasp in the hands now, the other thumb on top. Clasp hands reaching behind your shoulders, back and down. We're going to look up. Now the jaw is soft, open, and stretch back. Small movement of the head side to side. Massaging the back of the neck there. And then last of all, we're going to give ourselves a big hug. Separate the shoulder blades and here, chin comes to the chest. Now, if you soften the knees and give yourself a good few rounds of breath to let that heaviness come into the head and just exploring any sensations in the back of the neck and down into the spine. So we're helping the shoulder blades to separate, getting the fingers into the scapula and just folding. A small, gentle sway side to side might reveal something interesting in the upper back. Even leaning, so your cheek leans on the bicep, corresponding bicep of the arm, across to the other side. And then gently release. Let's roll the shoulders up, back and down. Twice more. Shoulders come forwards, lift up. Let's flip the palms and then shoulders back and down last time. Great. Last little bit for the shoulders. Let's try and isolate the movement to the shoulders first of all. So we're not using the arms at all. So let's place the hands on the outer thighs. Take the shoulders forwards and back. Chest open, shoulder blades together. Forwards, shoulder blades come apart and back. Try to avoid any movement in the lower spine. Trying to isolate that upper spine and the shoulder blades gliding forwards and backwards with the shoulders. Now we'll try and take that movement using the strength of the whole arm. So reach forwards right into the fingertips. See how much further the shoulder blades come apart and then reaching back. So now we've got the strength of the triceps, reaching back to open the chest, getting that pec stretch, and the shoulders will go further back and squeeze between the shoulder blades, becomes a little bit stronger. So again, coming forwards, the whole chain of muscles of the arms. So it's not that one or other is better, it's just we're thinking today maybe about increasing that neuromuscular intelligence to the body, how we're using the body, the muscles to achieve movement. Same again with an up and down movement. Let's just place the hands on the hips and lift the shoulders up to the ears and then drop the shoulders down. A couple of times up and feel the shoulder blades gliding down towards the waist. And then with the strength of solid arms, lifting up, squeezing, and then fingertips down to the earth. Feel how much longer the neck then feels. Top of the head to the ceiling. Long, strong, active arms reaching right to the fingertips. And last of all, hopefully feeling a little bit warmer in the shoulders. Shake out the arms. One watch point for the hands now. Let's place the hands forwards as though there are jars and we're trying to swivel the lids. Turn outwards so the biceps roll up to the ceiling. So when we later on come to a lunge position or our down dog, we want to have the sensation of pressing down into the earth and opening till the biceps come and point forwards. Now, when we're in a down dog or a lunge position, the hands are obviously static on the floor, and it's the intention of rolling out, which will give us space in the shoulder joint, rolling the biceps forwards, and we're strong along the whole arm. So a few more times of swiveling around. This time we are getting the movement right into the wrists. But when we come into our down dog, it will be a static position and an intention of turning those jar lids away from each other. So the only watch point then that I'll remind you of when we are weight bearing on the hands and rolling out will be to not lean onto the little fingers. So I'll remind you of that later on. Now we've been working in this flex position. Let's place the backs of the hands together and just roll out the wrists a couple of times. Pausing with the backs of the hands together just as a gentle counter stretch. Great. We're going to take a standing cat-cow, and I want you to have now a focus on the pelvis, so we can really influence the way we use the hamstrings and health and mobility of the spine just by how we use the positioning of the pelvis. So let's have the feet hip distance apart. We'll bend the knees and we're resting the hands on the tops of the knees. Now, not a full cat-cow, just think about the pelvis as being a bowl of water. And if we stick the bottom out so the sit bones ride up the wall behind, we're pouring the water out of that bowl forwards. We can press down on the knees and you feel that extension of the spine, almost concave position here in the back. And then the reverse, not the upper back, forget the shoulders for now, just feel that tailbone pointing down towards the earth, that flexion of the spine, and see how deeply we use those core muscles, tummy bottom back to the spine, ribs together, squeeze. So we go between those 2 points where we're just focusing on the pelvis position for our cat-cow. So exploring, it's very easy when we're all very accustomed to doing a cat-cow to just go into this full movement of the whole body without going into the finesse, and going right to where we're challenging the body a little bit, and obviously promoting that health of the spine. So hopefully already you're starting to get some sense of how strongly the core pulls in to help that flexion of the lower spine. Also, as we can use the position of the hands on the thighs to deepen this. And now we're going to leave the pelvis and come to some kind of compromise between those 2 points. So there is a little bit of an arch in the spine. Next on the shoulders. So again, pulling into the knees, draw the chest forward, the shoulders back, shoulder blades come a bit closer together, neck is long. And then push on the thighs to spread the shoulder blades, chin can come into the chest. So working between those 2 points where we've really got that focus on the spine coming forwards, the shoulders back, heart coming forwards in space, and then back. So just a few more rounds. You're probably burning a little bit on the quads, all good strengthening, but do shake out if you need to. Let's have one more round, just exploring where we get to with that movement in the upper back, like flexion, extension. And then let's do the whole thing. So if we pull on the knees, stick the bottom out, chest forwards, and just feel right from the pubic bone up to the chin, that stretch from the front of the body. And then the reverse, chin to chest, separate the shoulder blades. We can pull on the backs of the knees to round the back and get that full flexion of the spine where you're breathing into the back of the heart, into that lower back curve, puffing out the lower back. Okay, last time, full set, thinking about the whole spine. Movement into the neck, head, any point, always encouraged. Wonderful. So hopefully the spine muscles of the spine feeling a little bit warmer. Let's park that idea. Let's take a little stretch into the lower body. So if we place the weight into the left foot, left leg, we bend the left knee and we'll lift the right toes to the ceiling. And then we switch. So we're just going side to side, just get stretching, warming up the legs, inner thigh and back of the leg, stretching there a couple of times either side. Small movements and postures that we take so regularly in class, but actually the deeper you go into it, the finesse, you can use the whole body to make a movement or a posture that bit stronger. Amazing. All right, we're going to do a modified sun salutation, just so we have that awareness of the whole body and why we're moving in a particular way. So I'm going to get you to stand with the feet hip distance apart. Let's rub the fronts of the thighs, get the brain thinking about those quadriceps we'll need. The outer thighs and the outer hips. Feel like you're pressing the thighs out into the hands. And then into the inner thighs. Just press into the inner thighs and try and draw the thighs towards each other. Feel that engagement. And then last of all, the hamstrings. If you've got a wall, you can use the fingertips on the wall. We lift one foot and press the heel of your foot into your fingertips and feel the backs of the legs fire up. So as soon as we've got that awareness all the way around the leg, that side, just press, feel the hamstrings. All right, let's just remember those sensations all the way around the thighs. Feel the outline of the feet pressing into the floor. We can interlace the fingers and place the hands on the top of the head. And whilst we press down into the feet, simultaneously press the top of the head up into the hands. So we're finding almost a traction or that feedback, sensory feedback for lengthening through the body. Feel the thighs firm up as we stretch in two directions. Release the hands, and we're going to take a deep breath in, reaching overhead. We're going to drop the head back. If the hands meet, great. Otherwise, we take that stretch into the fingertips, and we'll pause to feel the ribs lifting out of the pelvis. Stay here for a moment. See if you can find that pelvic tilt where you're neither pouring water at the front of the bowl of water or at the back. So feeling that stacked position, pelvis, ribs on top. And then let's swan dive the arms down and take a halfway lift with a big bend in the knees. Generous bend, even if you've got long, supple hamstrings, a big bend in the knees. Back to that pelvic tilt at the beginning. See if you can stick the bottom out and get that stretch in the backs of your thighs. So thinking about a kind of halfway lift where we have still a little bit of a concave position in the lower back. Fingertips to the floor or on the shins and lengthen through the spine. We're coming into a lunge. Fingertips to the floor, let's step your right foot back and pause. So remember what I said about pressing down into the floor, and let's have the index fingers pointing forwards. Feel that rounding, opening biceps pointing forwards, as if we're trying to turn jaw lids which won't turn. Feel the biceps pointing forwards, that opening in the shoulders, lengthen the neck. And we're going to take a down dog with that same focus and strength in the arms. So step your left foot back, bend the knees generously, and press the hands down and find that sense of swiveling jaw lids. Sit bones riding up the wall behind. And can we again look for that stretch in the backs of the thighs? So not concerned too much with straightening the legs or getting the heels to the floor. We're strong from the heels of the hands and the fingertips right up into the shoulders, and then feeling that length in the spine and a stretch into the hamstrings with bent knees. One more breath to step the right foot forwards. We can step immediately to the front or lower the knees first. Help the right foot forwards. We'll return to that lunge position. You can extend that left leg, straighten the left leg, lifting that back knee. Again, turn those jaw lids. Eyes of the elbows point forwards, biceps point forwards. Active into the fingertips, and then step forwards. As we stand up, let's circle those wrists. And take a deep breath in, circling all the way up. And circle in the other direction to lower the arms. We'll do the same in the other direction. Since we start to engage the whole chain, the wrist muscles are getting worked more deeply. Are we ready? Second side. Take a breath in and reach overhead. Pause and stretch. Fingertips to the ceiling. Find that length in the tailbone. So the tailbone pointing down towards the backs of your knees. So we're coming to that neutral spine. Deep breath, reaching, finding length and space. And then little swan dive, the arms down. So same thing, the knees will be generously bent. As we did in the open sequence, you can hold the knees, all the shins, all fingertips to the floor. We find that forward fold with the chest on the thighs. Give the head a chance to shake out and soften. Even swing the arms. Pause here to feel that engagement in the backs of the legs. Great. We're stepping the left foot back into a lunge. So look down at your fingers. Have the index fingers pointing forwards, parallel to each other. Step your left foot back, find that runner lunge, and then work on those jaw lids. And let's turn the elbow creases forwards, shoulders open, external rotation of the shoulders, neck long. So find a shortening in the front of the neck, a lengthening in the back of the neck. Here's your checkpoint where we make sure that even though we're rounding, turning those jaw lids away from each other, we're not placing an uneven weight in the little fingers. Press down through the index, knuckles and fingertips. Down dog. So remember, just for this one, just to feel the strength in the whole body, We're going to keep the knees quite generously bent. So step your right foot back, bend the knees, and find length in the spine. Remember to turn those jaw lids, so we're active through fingertips, underside knuckles, and the heels of the hands. Eyes of the elbows point forwards, shoulders externally rotate, and we can press down into the floor and twist whilst lengthening, so the sit bones lengthening away from the heels of the hands. Shaking's fine, know the difference between your good and bad pain. You can pedal it through from one foot to the other. It might be helpful to know that this is the one and only round of Sun Salutation. So if you're feeling fatigue, you're nearly there. Again, to step forwards, we can lower both knees and help the left foot forwards. Let's have one last turning of those imaginary jaws just to find opening and space in the shoulders. Tuck your toes under at the back and step to the front. And this time we're rolling up through the spine, one vertebra at a time. And at the top, roll the shoulders back and down. Separate the legs and have a little swing. And we're coming down to the mat. We'll start with a Mermaid Twist. So we'll be sitting on our bottoms and we'll have the knees, ankles out to the right. Bear with me. Here we are. Okay. So your front foot on the front of this thigh. Are we all ready to turn over to your left? So a swivel. Let's place the fingertips on the floor. If we start to lift this right hip and dial it down, we're starting to twist from a length in the front of the thigh. The hip, the crest of the hip rolls forwards. Now the navel turns to the side. And then the ribs. You can feel a little bit of a cat-cow just to work into the mobility of the spine here. Maybe like a restless cobra, work the shoulders until we start to take a little bit of a deeper twist right up into the space between the ears. So if we look over our shoulder, soft jaw, no tension here, we can start to feel that twist right from the base of the spine all the way up. Pause. And then to give the wrists a rest, we'll come onto the forearm, this left forearm, and we're going to work this right hip. So finding a lift, it may feel it, if you've not done this before, this leg will feel super heavy. So more weight you counterbalance, you put onto this left arm, the easier. For more of a challenge, sit upright and make your side do the work. So we're going to take a little lift for 10, 9, the obliques working, 8, 7, 6, squeeze, 5, 4, 3, the ankles lifting as well, 2, 1, pause in that hovering position, and then the knee, like it's on a swiveling table, swivels back, squeeze, 10, 9, long through the spine, 8, 7, 6, 5, I know it's getting heavy, 4, 3, 2, 1, you've done it. Before we switch to the other side, legs out in front and rock. Feel that little massage of the gluteals shaking out, and then we set up on the other side. When we do cow face pose, it will feel lovely in the hips. Okay, set up for the other side. Start with the spinal twist. Okay, hand can come onto the back of this left hip and dial it forwards. That's the start of our twist. Then navel, your tummy button turning over to the right. Feel that swivel right into the ribs. Come onto your fingertips, the heels of your hands are a little bit tired. And then see if you can take the gaze around over the shoulder. Shoulders down. Now, whilst we're swiveling, very easy to collapse in the spine. Try to lengthen. So particularly as you breathe in, lengthen up through the spine. The breath out, the navel might go a little bit further round to the right. And then gently release. Again, onto the forearm. We're lifting this top leg. See if you can think about the knee and the ankle being the same height from the floor. Slight pelvic tilt. Try and draw your hip creases, the crests of the hips together, like some abdominal toning there. And we'll lift for 10, 9. No collapsing here. Long spine, long neck, chin tucked into the neck, lengthen through the back of the neck, a little squeeze into the glutes. I think it's about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We keep that hover and we're swiveling. So point the toe and reach behind you. You can support your lower back just to avoid any lower back arching. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You deserve a cow face pose. We're going to come into it on all fours. Let's cross this left knee over the right. Separate out the feet. And now we're all going to be in different positions. Maybe you can sit down between the feet. Maybe you work on fists with the hands and just gently guide yourself back towards that space. The further we go back, the more we'll get this sense of the knees stacking. And we're just finding a nice bit of work into those hips. If you're sitting all the way back or you feel secure in this position, we can come into a fold. We can create fists for the forehead. We can just rest the chin on the knees. So just find where you are here. If we're staying in an upright position, maybe a gentle kind of spiraling action. You might feel the sit bones finding a bit more grounding there. Wherever you are, give yourself another breath here before we switch sides. And breathing, softening the shoulders, the breath returning to a steady rhythm. And if you're in a forward fold, slowly rise up through the spine. The head will come via all fours to switch the other side. So rolling forwards, we switch the cross and the legs. Right knee in front. And by separating the feet right away, we've got a better chance of lowering. Now, if you've got a cushion on a sofa handy or blocks, elevating the hips will be really helpful here. No forcing. Again, because we've done a lot of work on active wrists, you might want to just make fists for support rather than using the heel of the hand. We're working towards both sit bones on the floor, lengthen the spine, the neck, and we can add a forward fold, trying to maintain that length in the spine. You can close the eyes. Let's just follow the journey of the breath in through the nose. And find softening through the body as you breathe out. If we're particularly tight in the hips, we can get the fingers massaging the hips here. And know that your work, the hardest part of your work is done. We've just got a little pelvic tilt movement on our backs, which is just lovely for feeling length through the tailbone and into the back of the neck. So to come out this time, you can either come onto all fours or we can lift the knees, roll back and release the legs. Let's give them a good old shake out. And while you release out and massage your glutes, I'll show you the next and final position. We'll set up as if you were going to take a bridge. But here, arms are going to be relaxed, chin tucked into the chest. Let's press the feet down into the floor and away from you, and you'll feel the lower spine imprint. And we lengthen the back of the neck. Release, press the feet down and forwards. Feel the spine imprint, the neck lengthens. So that action of pressing down through the feet and towards the front edge of your mat rolls the shoulder blades down the spine to give us more length in the neck. Also engaging those hamstrings. Much more like that, pressing down and away away from the sit bones. Feel the chin coming into the chest. Chest wide open, spine imprints. And now the reverse. Press the feet down and draw in towards the seat and feel the spine arching. Release. Press down and into the seat. Engage. Release. Couple more times, pressing down and in. So feel how that just by the way we press the feet into the floor, we can influence the position of the pelvis, and we can influence that arch in the spine and the movement right up into the neck. Last time, and then we're going to hug the knees into the chest, hold the back of the knees, and take a gentle rock side to side. Roll the head side to side. Allow the knees to sway side to side. And you can stay here as long as you like, or take a full body stretch if that's what you feel you need. And well done. We're